Keisha, Keisha, queen of the plot. Hit that bell, cause the tea don't stop. She don't miss nothing, got the scoop on lock. Spilling all the tea while it's still too hot. Lay Keisha, Keisha, queen of the plot. Hit that bell, cause the tea don't stop. She don't miss nothing, got the scoop on lock. Spilling all the tea while it's still too hot. Lay Keisha, Keisha, queen of the plot. Hit that bell, cause the tea don't stop. Hit that bell, cause the tea don't stop. She don't miss nothing, got the.
All right, y'all. Trying to figure out my screen. Good morning, guys. Good morning. I was getting ready to go out and take my walk, run, jog, whatever. Your girl need to lose some weight, child. I'm getting too old for this here. I got to get out there and, start exercising. So that's what I wanted to do. But before I did that, a lot of times I'd be carrying information and it'd be old because I never tell y'all about it. So I said, I'm going to make sure to do better. But baby, got some information with regards to Porsha's house. Now we know that Simon is in ICE custody, but what you guys are missing, and honestly, I did too, is that Simon is responsible for paying a mortgage because simply Porsha can't pay it. This is a huge mortgage. And somebody sent me a message yesterday. It's a lady, she's from Ghana. She knows Simon, she knows Kelvin, and she was giving me some information. And I was like, wait a minute, I forgot about that. So before we get into it, y'all, let's let the intro play out.
Please, I don't have any time for any gossip now. Eh? Yes.
Okay, guys, so the information, we know that Simon is still in ICE custody, okay? Now, this property, and I'm going to show you guys, I don't know what information you have saw, but this is when I say very, it's a very nice house, so I can understand, why Porsha wants to remain, and this is a beautiful home, but the fact of the matter is, it's just not her house. So this is a mortgage. This is the house, and as I was looking, I said, wow. So what y'all got to understand is Simon is responsible for making all of the payments. Now, I knew that, but it hadn't dawned on me how long this man has been in ICE custody. And as always, Porsha did not think this out. As a matter of fact, she didn't think this out at all, because with Simon being in jail, if you were in jail, are you concerned with paying a mortgage for somebody that you really don't want in a house that you actually got to pay for? Who could potentially be the reason that you're in where you are? So it's a very nice house. I think she showed some of it, what she can show. I think she's showing it on her YouTube channel, but this is the property. It's a very, very nice house. So I can really understand, why she would want to stay there, because she wouldn't be able to afford this property, not on that Real Housewives of Atlanta check. So this is the house, and it's a $7 million house. But the part that I want y'all to not forget, let's get into it. Simon has been in custody with the people over there at ICE since, and I'm going to look this up because I forgot to say, oh my gosh, I didn't realize it's February. Okay. So he had been in custody, I want to say since February 26th or something. Yes. So Simon has been in detention. Oh boy, y'all, let me get it together. Yeah. So Simon has been in custody since February. Okay. So the problem with Simon being in custody, y'all, since February is how is the payments getting paid? Like how is he, so do y'all really think that the payments are being made? I totally wasn't even thinking about this, and somebody inboxed me, and she, said that she was from Ghana and she was familiar with the situation. And I had asked, I was like, is he out or whatever? So we were just talking and um just having, basic conversation. And she says, well, I don't believe that he's making the payments. Like, why would he make the payments? And it dawned on me. And I said, you know what? I never thought about that. So think about it. Simon has been in custody since February, which would mean obviously the February mortgage payment would have been paid. What about March? Who's paying March? We're in April, y'all, and we are getting ready to be in the month of May. Okay. So I said, wait a minute. Who's making the payments? Because do you really think that Simon is going to pay for a mortgage of a house that he can't access? Not only can he not access this property, he is in ICE custody. I would think that that would be the least of his worries, right? If you guys recall, Simon and Porsha had a hearing in which Simon was not able to attend because he's in ICE custody. But what happened was, and I can show you guys the the write-up, the article, is Simon wanted to obviously put the hearing off because obviously he's in custody with ICE. Well, what Porsha told the people at the court was Simon is responsible for his own mess and that she wanted them to proceed because frankly, it's not her problem that he is not there. So also what she did is she tried to cite, it's a rule where if you kind of are the if you put yourself in a situation, then therefore the court doesn't need to basically give you any more leeway per se. So Porsha was basically saying this is his fault since he created this problem. I do not want the the courts to give him any more leeway because Simon was actually asking for continuance because hey, I'm in jail. But what Porsha is saying, hey, what is happening with this man is a result of his own actions. Now, because it is a result of his own actions, don't you dare court help him. So he's been in custody since February 19th. I was able to find the date. So they had to go to court on February 26th. Obviously, he wasn't there. But Porsha is basically saying, no, don't give him anything because it's his fault. He's not out because of his own, it's his fault. It's pretty much what she's saying. So this is what the person told me. They said, well, he's not going to pay the mortgage. Like he's in custody. And I said, oh, I hadn't thought of that. Now, I don't know if, because we're seeing Porsha on YouTube and she lying like hell to y'all. I see some of the comments, but I actually tried to watch Porsha's video. I couldn't watch it. It's like Porsha is just making the shit up as she go along. I could not watch it, but I really wanted to watch it, but it was really difficult for me. I could not watch it. But simply what I also want to talk about, y'all, is how does Georgia proceed with foreclosure? Now, Georgia is the money state, honey. They want the money by all means necessary. So I was like, you know what is the rules in Georgia? Now, I know in other states, such as Wisconsin, you have to be, I think it's 3-4 months behind. Guess what the law is in Georgia, honey? You just need to be behind. So in Georgia, unfortunately, you can be 30 days behind. Also, guys, what you need to understand about Georgia does not have to take you to court. All they have to do, and this gets interesting. I'm going to read it verbatim. In Georgia, the foreclosure process is generally a non-judicial process. They don't have to take you to court. It's a non-judicial process, means it doesn't require a court hearing. So they don't got to take you to court. What they do, maybe if you don't get out, then they have the people come put your shit out. But the process typically involves the lender sending a notice of default and then publishing a notice of sale in the local newspaper for 4 consecutive weeks. The sale is then held on the first Tuesday of the month after the notice period. And when I saw that, I said, oh my gosh. So in the state of Georgia, you can be behind 30 days because typically 30 days, that is when they will report it to the credit bureau. Here's the deal, y'all. They don't have to take you to court. So typically you 30 days late, they're going to send a default notice. You are in default. You need to pay by this date. You don't pay, they're going to publish it in the local newspaper. After 4 consecutive weeks, they can sell your house. So what that means, simple, you can be 30 days behind. They're going to send you a notice and say, hey, you need to pay this in 2 weeks. Now you didn't pay it in 2 weeks. Now we're into what, 6 weeks. Now for 4 weeks, they have to publish it in the paper. They can really have your house sold by 3 months. It's very different in other states because in other states, they say you have to be 3 months behind. Now that the person is 3 months behind, you also now have to file an action in court to actually take them to court. Georgia is very different. So it made me think because I'm like, wait a minute, hold up, wait a minute. It means this. And I don't have any other information that you guys can figure out on your own other than the lady that reached out to me and said, wait a minute, Simon ain't paying for that mortgage. If Simon is not paying for the mortgage, I want to know who's paying it because $7 million, I can tell you for a fact, Porsha ain't got it. She ain't got it. You know, I don't care what business, Go Naked Hair or whatever she's selling sheets, she ain't selling enough. You're going to have to be Martha Stewart to be able to afford this mortgage. So I'm not saying that the house is in foreclosure, but what I am saying is that if Simon is in custody with ICE, well, we know he in custody with ICE, who is paying the mortgage? Now, I know some of y'all think Porsha is that girl. I keep telling you, she ain't. She ain't. So I don't know if Porsha, what is her aim? What's going on here? I don't know if maybe she's on YouTube because I looked at her channel. Like I said, y'all, I tried to watch it. It was giving bird brain. It was giving, I'm making up shit as I go along. It was given, I need to get off this girl's channel because she is irritating the hell out of me. That is what it was given. So I couldn't do it. I mean, you go from, you want to talk about, you know, the reality show that you're on, then you talking about you're going to do mukbangs and all of this. It was too much for me. Too much. So I said, I can't. And then the lies, too many lies. So I couldn't watch it. So I started to think, I said, you know, is Porsha jumping on YouTube with hope to get money, maybe? You know, financial stability, or is she on here because of, you know, thinking that this would draw more people to the show? I don't know. But what I do know is that if Simon isn't paying the mortgage, I doubt very highly that Porsha would be able to sustain such a mortgage because I mean, y'all, come on now, this mortgage house is 6 million, 6.5, almost 7 million. Even if he put $1 million or so down, this is considered a jumbo loan, which means in jumbo loans, you don't have those type of interest rates that you have with your regular mortgage. So because it's a jumbo mortgage, it poses more risk to the lending. So the lending agency, which means the payment is not small. It's not, because y'all got to understand when, you know, financial institutions do these loans. I know a little bit about loans because I used to have a mortgage company, right? So I know a little bit, but it's been over 20 years, you know, so I don't remember everything, you know, with regards to that. But who paying the mortgage? Now, is we going to see Porsha house on that list, Or is it on the list already? I said, let me start doing some digging and looking, because I know, and I know y'all don't, because some of y'all worship the ground that Porsha walks on. But the fact of the matter is, if Simon is not paying this mortgage or have not paid this mortgage, it would mean that it is in default. Now, what y'all got to understand is Porsha has told the court she doesn't have the means. Now, she may have a means to do something, but I really don't think she has the means to pay this house or be able to, sustain in this house by herself. Because in all honesty, if she had the means, I believe she would just go and get her another house, similar to how she did in the situation with Cordell. If y'all, recall, Porsha being married to Cordell. So, when she left Cordell, she did, in fact, buy her a home. It's not really actually that far from me. And it's this home. And, this is one that she actually can afford. But, with that one, yeah, she ain't gonna, that one is not going to be within her budget. So let's go into this house. So this is the house, if y'all remember, this was the house that she bought when she moved out of Cordell's home. If y'all recall, this is the house that she bought when she left Cordell. And I know this, it was like 1 million. I mean, y'all got to understand, 1 million, 7 million, that is a huge difference. A very huge difference. So this is the house, that she still owns in Duluth. I think she, wants the court to think that she doesn't have that home anymore, but in fact, her mother still lives there. So what y'all think? I mean, put a 1 in the chat if you think that Porsha gonna be able to sustain this house. Put a 2 in the chat if you know she ain't gonna be able to sustain it. So I'm just gonna give y'all a good scenario. Let's say they put or he, because she didn't, let's say he put $1 million. You're looking at, and I don't even know what these people taxes are. Easy, very easy, 40,000 a month. Very, very easy. Very easy. And I'm giving it a good scenario. I'm giving it a good scenario, and it's probably way more than that. But do you think Porsha can afford $40,000 a month? And guys, I'm not even talking about the maintenance, the lights, this big ass house. What do you think the light and the gas bill is? So in my analysis, I feel like this is going to be what is going to be at her next, unless Simon is paying the mortgage. Again, maybe he is, but I don't know. Maybe he's paying the mortgage, but if he is not, you can guarantee that this house will be on the short sale relatively soon.
She don't miss nothing, got the scoop on lock. Spilling all the tea while it's still too hot. Keisha, queen of the block.